Another offensive coordinator position opens up. Greg Roman is fired from the Baltimore Ravens. Could he link up with Lamar Jackson in New York?
Jets! Some major changes for the Baltimore Ravens. Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator who's had so much success along with Lamar Jackson, is leaving the organization. This according to Mike Garafolo and myself. I have a press release that I'm hitting send on right now. Comes from his agency, Athletes First. Greg Roman leaving to pursue other opportunities. Haven't actually read the press release, but I'll go through that right now considering I just tweeted it. Here's the main thing. Greg, well...
you left their phone number in there, Ian.
I would say from... No, it's okay. It's a press release. That's part of what press releases are. After visiting with Coach Harbaugh and huddling with my family, this is from Greg Roman, I've decided that now is the right time to move on from the Ravens so I can explore new challenges and opportunities. I think that is the main thing for Greg Roman. And, we talked about the ripple effect with the Buccaneers firing Byron Leftwich, certainly a huge ripple effect. Greg Roman is part of the reason that Lamar Jackson has had so much success. Unbelievable run amongst those two.
Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, another name opens up on the offensive coordinator market. Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, getting his walking papers, now available to sign with another team, looking to find another role. They were parting ways. I don't know if fired's the right term, but it's fired the same way that Mike LaFleur was parting ways with the New York Jets, if you want to kind of put it that way. So Greg Roman, who is he? What's going on? I know there's going to be a lot of rumors surrounding the Lamar Jackson thing. I want to dive all into it right here. So Greg Roman, offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens for the past few years, custom-tailored offenses to Lamar Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, and Tyrod Taylor. Remember, he was the OC under Jim Harbaugh out in San Francisco, as well as the OC with Baltimore and with the Bills. Lamar Jackson, MVP in 2019, just his second season. He got half a year of starting, and then this offense with Greg Roman wins an MVP. He is NFL Assistant Coach of the Year in 2019. Ravens offensive line coach from 2006 to 2007. That is when Joe Douglas was actually in Baltimore as an offensive line scout, so there's a little bit of familiarity there in the building. And then, like I said, he called plays for the 49ers, the Bills, and the Ravens. Now, something to consider when potentially bringing in an offensive coordinator is who he could maybe bring with him. Now, the popular name is going to be Lamar Jackson on this list, but there's a few other guys that could be coming along, potentially. Lamar Jackson, quarterback. Jawan James, right tackle. He's the former first-round pick. He actually tore his Achilles against the Jets week 2 this year. Ben Powers, the left guard for the Baltimore Ravens, also a free agent. And then you have a few restricted free agents in Tristan Colon Castillo, the center/right guard for the Baltimore Ravens, and then Tyler Huntley, obviously a backup quarterback for Lamar Jackson. Maybe a situation if you were to bring in Greg Roman but could not get Lamar Jackson, then maybe Huntley helps, kind of figure out the offense for some of the other players on the team. It's a possibility, right? The whole dream of pairing Greg Roman with Lamar Jackson, I think, is bright-eyed for a lot of Jet fans. But there's a few things we do have to go into. RG3 sent out a tweet. Greg Roman may be the greatest run game tacticians I have ever been around at the NFL level. Running backs and tight ends love his system because they eat. Wide receivers absolutely hate it. That's why free agent wide receivers didn't want to go or stay in Baltimore. It was never about Lamar Jackson. Now, that's clearly a red flag. We have some wide receivers here that maybe we're not too thrilled with the way their touches kind of went this past year. Although I would say that having someone of a Lamar Jackson's caliber throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore is drastically different than having like the corpse of Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and Mike White throwing you the ball. You would think, at least with improved quarterback play, those wide receivers would be a little bit happier. But this has been a big problem down in Baltimore, and a big reason why free agents were not looking to sign with the Baltimore Ravens as far as wide receivers go, to the point where Marquise Brown up and left. He got traded to Arizona, which I'm sure he's kicking his himself now. Everything in hindsight. But yeah, he's not with Lamar Jackson either. So if he winds up coming to the Jets, is there a situation where you have to deal with maybe some more disgruntled wide receivers? Or is this a situation where maybe you start creating a pipeline of wide receivers? You're going to start taking them high in drafts, and that's how you acquire your wide receiver talent as opposed to going out and getting those free agents. But wide receivers, they're going to be disgruntled because they see all the money that guys like Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf are making out on the open market, and to get stuck with Greg Roman on the Jets probably is not high up there on their list. So it creates some weird dynamics from a potential attractiveness standpoint for the offense. The other thing to touch base on, Ian Rappaport comes out and says, Coach Harbaugh says it clearly. Lamar Jackson is our quarterback and says there's a 200% chance that he stays. That's a lot of percents. He'll be involved in the next offensive coordinator hire. So I would be very surprised based on Greg Roman parting ways with the Baltimore Ravens and that comment from John Harbaugh if Lamar Jackson is actually traded. This seems like Lamar Jackson probably pushed Greg Roman out, or at least the feeling from the Ravens organization was that Lamar, in part, wants to leave because of things and circumstances surrounding Greg Roman. And now that's a little goofy to say because Greg Roman got Lamar Jackson or helped him to get an MVP in 2019. So why would Lamar Jackson want to get rid of an MVP caliber offensive coordinator? Well, the thought process here is that you're not going to have the passing statistics with Greg Roman as a quarterback. So just like wide receivers are trying to get paid, Lamar Jackson is trying to get a monster contract. Moving on from Greg Roman does kind of imply that the Ravens will use the exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson. They'll bring in a new offensive coordinator, see if they can get it to all work out, and assuming that Lamar Jackson takes that next step in a pro-style offense, then he can get the contract that he so desires, like a Deshaun Watson. But then you'll also get the benefit of having Burrow and Herbert and some of these other guys get contracts now, meaning your contract next year is going to be that much bigger. It's an interesting sort of thought process, I think, as far as, you know, what could really happen. Because Lamar Jackson, I would like to at least be an option for the New York Jets, but I tend to have a little bit more pause when I see things like this. So for me, I get the feeling Lamar probably is not getting traded because of this move, and I don't think that bringing Greg Roman necessarily helps you getting Lamar in the event that Lamar does become available. But I do think that Greg Roman and his offensive line background mixed with our strength at running back becomes the top option for the New York Jets as far as offensive coordinator is concerned to fit the style of players that we currently have on the roster. That, to me, is the exciting part of Greg Roman. And then if you want to link him up with someone else, you know, a senior offensive advisor, or maybe he's the senior offensive advisor. Who knows? I think there's a lot of possibilities here, but he immediately jumps to the top of my list given his connection with Joe Douglas and the ability to mold his offense around the talent that he has on the team. He's done it in 3 different locations. So I like the idea of him coming here, even if the wide receivers aren't too thrilled. I think this entire team is going to want to run similarly to how Saleh has run in the past. Defense, 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 ball control, and hold on to the ball. So guys, let me know your thoughts on Greg Roman. Is he a top option for you as far as offensive coordinator goes? Do you think there's a situation where Lamar Jackson maybe wants to play under Greg Roman? Or do you want to steer clear from Greg Roman because you want a shot at Lamar Jackson? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, go Jets.